Welcome back. Welcome back to Unarmored Talk Podcast. I know it's been a couple of weeks. You guys know that every 2 weeks we bring on a wonderful guest who's willing to remove their armor to help people develop an accurate way of thinking. And today's guest is an amazing man. I've known him, it seems like forever. What's going on, Rod Bourn? What's up, man?
Mario, it is awesome to see you as always. When your name's on my calendar, I'm like, it's going to be a good day. I don't care if it's raining, snowing, cats biting me. I know it's going to be a good day.
Hey, I feel the same way. You see, I'm smiling. I'm blushing with my eyes, man. You know, I got a permanent tan. But hey, everyone, I'm still your host. My wife hates when I say that, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I am still your host, Mario P. Fields. And before we get into today's topic, thank you guys so much. Remember, every time you share, download, follow this podcast, but most importantly, when you download or you go on the YouTube channel on that podcast playlist and watch any episode or any video, you are helping make a difference for tomorrow's professionals. You're supporting Still Serving Incorporated. I'm going to say it every episode because you guys are making an impact. So anytime you've listened to an episode or watched an episode and then you see me doing a check cutting, a check donation ceremony for whatever program we're doing under that amazing nonprofit, you are a part of that. You are part of that. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. All right, done with the admin. You guys know the deal. Let's get right into it. Rod, do me a favor, man. Can you tell everyone a little bit about yourself? Before you do that, shame on me and everyone, because him and I talk so much. This don't even feel like an episode. So shame on me. He is an owner. we talk so much, man. He's the owner. He's the founder, owner of Lead Ninja. What an amazing organization. His slogan, you guys ready for this? And it's football season too, by the way. Down, set, and lead. But here's the cool thing. He's the author as well. And the title of his book is called Downset Lead. But the book came first.
Right.
For the company. Rod, take it away, man.
Cheers, man. I appreciate it, Mario. So yeah, my company is Downset Lead, and the name came from the book, which the idea came first. And I know we're going to talk a little bit about that, but let me tell you, the book idea came from because my first career was in human resources. And I tell people that's why I don't have hair anymore. It's because I spent 15 years, it was a nice progressive career, right? But a lot of that time, Mario, was doing investigations of 30, 40, 50, 60-year-olds who acted like 3, 4, 5, 6-year-olds, couldn't get together couldn't play nice in the sandbox, right? And doing investigations, and I started collecting stories. After like the third or fourth investigation, the line "truth is stranger than fiction," right?
Yeah.
And it's true because I'd go in and I'd start asking questions, not interrogating, but digging deep and finding out what really happened. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me! This happened in this building, and it got so bad. I got to the point where I would say something to like, "All right, Joe. So before I fire you, I got one last question for you. What were you thinking?" And then Joe would be like, he'd give this explanation to, this is why I thought it was a good idea, or thought it'd be okay if I did this. And like, you gotta be kidding me. So I started collecting all these investigations. Of course, I changed the name to protect the guilty. And my idea was, when I felt I had enough, I would just publish a book, and the title of the book would be "What Were You Thinking?" And this was as I was a young man early in my career, and then life starts happening, right? You get married, you have kids, and the job gets bigger and deeper and everything else. And I still kept collecting stories, even though about 15 years in, my career changed. I got more into leadership development and that kind of stuff. But as I went back to revisit everything that I had wrote and thought about, okay, what is this really all about? And it's about leadership, or in a lot of those cases, it was the lack thereof. There was a vacuum. It was a leadership vacuum. And that's why these particular instances happened. And so I thought, well, let me take all of this good stuff that I made and write a book that is more about leadership, because that's, again, my career went more in that direction,
Right.
where I was doing development and programming to help develop more leaders, especially young ones. But as I got older, then older ones as well, to the point now where I'm working from the gamut, from folks right out of high school or college to folks who are just getting ready to retire. But the main message is true, and I know you pretty well, and I know the stuff that you celebrate and you cheer for, and it really is about what are the opportunities to become a leader, and what are the challenges that you're likely to face, and let's talk about those in this book. And that's how the book developed, and the book, the title, all that came before me going out on my own.
Wow.
And so I just said, I love the name of the book. I love how Downset Lead sounds. That's what I'm going to call my company. And I'm going to
Yeah.
be lead ninja of Downset Lead.
I love it. And earlier I said slogan because I just love the name. I mean, I'm so professionally in love with the name. And so you guys, if you haven't checked it out, check out his company, Downset Lead, and also his book, of course, Downset Lead. But let's jump right into it. We see Rod today, author, owner, and lead ninja of Downset Lead. Looks like the journey of becoming an author was just rather smooth. Was it, Rod?
It was not smooth at all, my friend. It was
Let's
not
talk
smooth at
about,
all.
let's talk about it,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. So I believe the adage that everybody has a book in them. Everybody does. Everyone's got a story. I mean, it's your life, it's your perspective, it's your learnings, and it may be something that's been welling up in you for a while. I'm 50 now, and it's like I've got enough, professional, personal, the various things that I've had to deal with in my life,
Yeah.
and everybody's different. And you can argue that some people certainly have had more difficult journeys for sure, but it really is getting your story out and sharing it, because it's kind of cathartic in a way. It's almost therapy to get this book out of you, whatever it is. And you're sharing your wisdom, you're sharing your knowledge, and there's very little that's better than that. Am I right?
Yeah.
It's
And Rod, I like how you said everybody has a story.
Yeah.
And I love how you said it, you gotta get it out. You gotta make that choice and get it out. And when you made that choice, when you said, you know what, enough is enough. I'm 25 now. Mario's 15. But enough, and I love your haircut.
Yeah,
But
same.
enough is enough. I am going to get my story out.
Yep.
When you made that decision, at any time during this journey, did you go, what the heck am I doing?
Yes. Yes. And at those points, this is where you need to have mentors. And
Mm,
you and I have had lots of talks. You know that mentoring is huge to me. I think it's a panacea for 80% of what ails the world, is if we had mentorships lined up where they really need to be. But
right.
finding someone who's been there, done that. Now, obviously, there are people out there who are editors and publishers and writers, ghostwriters, and a lot of them are very good. Some of them will be more than happy of taking a lot of your money and delivering, really, I paid X amount of dollars for this.
Right.
And you need to be true to yourself. And I interviewed authors. I did a lot of that, Mario, and I would really encourage anybody that's out there that wants to write a book, talk to an author, reach out to somebody. Because what's the one thing that everybody loves to talk about the most? Themselves, right?
Mm,
Am I right? Am
yeah.
I right? Yeah. So, but if you go out and you're like, hey, Mario, saw you wrote, a couple really cool books. Would you mind if we got together for, half an hour and you just told me where to jump on, how to do this, and, what are the big things? Folks, 90% of the time, folks like Mario, me, anybody else, like, yeah, absolutely. You're going to buy me a cup of coffee. I would be more than happy to tell you about my experiences in this. And very few people are totally solid with everything in the book building process. So you find someone who's an editor, you find someone who's an author, you find someone who has worked with VAs over in the Philippines or India or wherever to do the artwork or to do whatever it is. And you start putting that together. And this is where it helps to be really organized and to literally have files for, okay, this is, for my art, this is for my, for my book peer reviewed group that I'm doing. And that way, whether it's, old school on paper and files, or you're doing everything online and you're using, whichever, and there are tons of tools out there to help you write a book.
Right.
That's what you need to do, is you need to find these people who will help guide you through, and you need to be very judicious and ask, well, how much will it cost? How much can I expect to pay? Because again, there are some people that cost very little, but what are you going to get for that? And there are some people who will be very happy to take all the money that they think you have, and you just have to
Yeah.
find what sits right with you.
Yeah. And I like how you highlighted, networking and the mentors and folks who have experience, right? Who have gone out there through this journey
Yeah.
of becoming an author, and then sharing those real life relevant skills as either mentor, coach, or both, or
Hmm.
your network. And so did you ever, um, during this journey, did you ever reflect on some portions of your book and go, you know what, I need to go back and just
Yes.
completely change that?
Yes. Yes. So for me, my book, I think, has a really nice flow to it. And that's the thing that comes easy for me, is I can see process. It's, everyone's got a couple of really good gifts. Mine is processing. I can see how things on a large scale will go. And so as I was doing this and looking at, okay, go write the best chapter you can, and then compare all the other chapters to that. And I can remember, Mario, having my editor, for example, push back, and he said, you have this one chapter that is 5 pages long. Your longest chapter is 13 pages long, and your average chapter is 8 pages long. Do you want to add some to this 5-page chapter? And it's great pushback. And that's what you need, is you need people to challenge you when you're doing this.
Hmm.
And as I'm looking through this, like, does this chapter read as good as I want it to, as I know it should? And because ultimately and literally your name's going on this, right? And you're going to be judged by this.
Right.
And so you need to make sure, again, that's why having a proofreader, having an editor, that everything flows, because people are going to open up this book, and if it doesn't read smooth, if the story is all jumbled, that reflects on me as a professional, and they're going to like, what, I really want to hire this guy? This guy can't write. Why would I hire him? So you want to make sure that, because Mario, one of the things that I learned right off the bat is that 98% of us, when we write a book, that first book, you need to understand that you are not going to become a New York Times bestseller. But what you're going to get is you are taking instead of your business card, you are superpowering your business card. Because all I need to do is like, hey, Mario, how you doing? My name's Rod. Good to meet you. Boom, boom. We talk a little bit. I'm like, hey, let me give you my book. And you're like, wow, okay, so I could have had Rod's business card, or I've got a
Right.
book, which it's not that thick, it's readable, and you're walking away. People are walking away with a super power charged business card.
I like it.
And they're talking about you, and they're sharing the book, they're giving it to their boss, say, look, we need to have Mario come in and talk to our group. This is the book that he wrote. Take a look at some of the stuff he's got in the book. And that's what he's
Yeah.
going to share with and that's what writing that first book, I think, is really all about.
Yeah, I love it. I like that. Some of you guys got, we have business, including myself. I mean, Rod and I talked offline. I'm on that journey. We have the, QR code, a business card. Let's step up the game. Take that authentic, whatever it is that you have inside the brain, and let's conceptualize it into a book. And how long did it take you from beginning to the end, Rod, where now you were standing back, having a beverage of choice, going,
I did it. Yeah.
we
Well,
did it.
yeah. So,
How long?
like I said, I started writing this back when I was a young man, but when I say writing, I was collecting the stories, and then life happened. When COVID came around, and that was what, early 2020. That's when I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take advantage of this. This book is, having this knowledge in me and that I want to get it out has been really eating me for the last several years. Let me put
Right.
this together. So I started working it probably the middle of 2020, and I released it the end of November of 21. Now, I wasn't working every day on that book. I've got full-time job. I'm out there, consulting, coaching, speaking, all those, all the fun things that I get to do that I really love about my job. So I wasn't working every day on that, but there were times when I would shut myself down for the entire weekend, close the door, don't bother me, and I'm knocking out this book for the next 48 hours. Boom, boom, boom. And then you come up for air, and then you push it out. You push what you wrote over to somebody, like, proofread this for me. What do you think? And they give it back to you, and then it's back under, and you work on that for another 6 hours at one time. You have to block time off, and that's the thing, Mario, is you have to learn how you work best, how you write best, because writing and doing all that author stuff is different than what you normally do work-wise, most likely. I'll give you one quick example.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people that my mind races too fast for me to be able to keep up with it. When I was young, I had a major stuttering problem and I learned it's because you think too fast and you try to speak as fast as you think. And what I learned is that translates over. I can't write, I can't type as fast as I think. And so what I would do is I would do whatever I need to do to get myself into thinking mode about what I want to write about. And I would pick up this and I would go for a walk and I would talk into this. And then I would send it to me. I would open up that email and I would edit what I just spoke about on my walk for the last 45 minutes. And it worked really well for me.
I like that. I might have to try that.
Yeah, man.
How much are you going to charge me for that tip?
That's 10%. I tell my friends all the time, Mario, because I'm one of these people. Do you remember the movie? Oh my gosh, it's slipping my mind. Hopefully, I'll remember before we're done here. But it was this guy who, he's like, I'm an idea guy, and he had a tape recorder taped into the collar of his jacket. Whenever he had a really good idea, he'd tape record it and be like, you should feed mayonnaise to tuna so that it was easier making tuna fish sandwiches, click, and stuff like that. But I'm an idea guy. And so like, I'll always tell my good friends that I hang out with, it's like, we're talking about something. I'm like, you should do that. And they're like, that's a great idea. And I tell them that's 10%. And I'm still waiting for my first ever 10% drop, but 10%, buddy, 10%.
Hey, invoice me with a net 30 and I'll take care of it.
Okay, you got it, brother.
Well, now looking back at the entire journey, doing some reflection back, if you had to give one out of all the advice, if you had to give one piece of advice to someone who's about to start, what would you give them?
Why are you writing this?
The why.
Why are you writing this?
Right.
For me, like I said, and for a lot of business people, I think it's a great opportunity to create a superpowered business card. I use it to attract attention and get more work. I also wrote it because I like to teach and I feel there are lessons. But who's your audience? Why are you writing this? Why are you writing this for them? And every time that you start a chapter, keep that in mind. And every time you finish the chapter, reread it and make sure that that chapter fills the void as you're building up to fill that hole as to why you're writing it. Why are you writing this book?
I like that. And develop that framework for you. And like you said, Rod, and then gain a better understanding for yourself and why are you even doing it? And
Yes.
then sticking with that foundation uh, throughout the journey. Rod, you are doing amazing work, not just as as an entrepreneur, business owner, and author, but more, ladies and gentlemen, everyone. So I recommend everyone get a copy of Downset Lead. If you have not got a copy, check out, Rod and what he's doing on LinkedIn. I'm gonna give him a chance to see how we can find him. But you know, get connected with this professional. I've been connected with him, it seems like, since 1850, and he's been amazing in my life. One day we'll personally meet. But how can people find you, my friend?
Yeah, so I love LinkedIn. So that best way to find me is there, and it's Rod as in hot golden lightning, Rod, and it's Bourn as in Jason's younger brother. Taught him everything I know. Then I got out of the service. No E at the end of my name, though. It's Bourn. But look me up on LinkedIn. I love to connect. My wife calls me a serial connector. One of the proud things is I was writing this, Mario. I mean, getting you and Jedediah together. That's what I love doing. You do stuff, you throw good out into the world, and I believe a little bit in karma. If I can help Mario out with something, maybe on Friday get 3 green lights on the way home. But that's why I like using LinkedIn, is because you can see all your connections, and I can see when was the last time that I messaged Mario, and when was that, and what exactly did we talk about, and what was that link that he told me about, and boom, boom. It's all there in LinkedIn. But they can also reach out, just Google Downset Lead, come up. We've got a website. I've got some videos on there that are cool to watch. I've got some really cool things on Instagram. I've got some cool videos on TikTok if you want, like just like 30 little, quick 30-second little blurbs, things to think about, maybe things that help you with your business. Lots of little videos on Instagram, Insta Reels, and TikTok.
Well, I truly appreciate you coming on Armor Talk podcast today, Rod. And I'm not going to take too much time so you can continue to have fun in the various things you're doing. But thank you so much for coming on the show, my friend.
Thank you. I love you. You are fantastic. What you bring to this world is amazing. We need more Marios, and just keep being real, my brother. Just keep being real, and
Same
I'll
here.
keep watching you and applauding you.
Same here. And I love you more, my friend. And because I'm the host, I can do that. But until next time, God bless you all and your families and friends. And we will see you guys. And here, if you're on audio, hear me in a couple of weeks. Until then, you guys be safe. See you soon.